Hi, my name's Nicole Warren. I work for the Thurston Conservation District. So we're going to take some soil health samples today. And we've got a couple different things with us here. What I have in my hand is just a soil core. And we're not going to use this for the soil health samples, but if we were just taking like a nutrient sample, we'd be using this. So I wanted to bring that out just so you could see the difference. So with a corer, and I just have a really short one here because the soil is so loose, you go through and it gives you a sample like that. But for taking samples for soil health, we actually are paying attention to structure. So with that, we're taking more of a slice of soil and taking a bunch of those samples and putting it together. And we're sending these off to Cornell University, their soil health lab. So we're in Management Unit 1. And we took samples here in 2019, so we're taking another sample this year. And the great thing about that is we'll be able to kind of compare and see what's different and see, what's similar. And you'll be doing some of those same tests as well in class. So it's also kind of neat to see what comes out from like a standardized lab versus what you can do in the field too, and kind of using all of those different tools. Okay, so we're gonna take some soil health samples. And so I'm just gonna be using the shovel, and I'm taking kind of chunks. And the biggest reason for that is that we wanna actually keep some of the structure together. So we wanna keep some of that stable, as opposed to if we were doing more of a nutrient soil test where we actually wanna break it all up and mix it together really fine. We're actually trying to keep some of the structure intact. That'll be really helpful for some of the tests that are going to be performed on it. So yeah, just with the shovel, and we're in Management Unit 1 that it's been recently tilled, so it's really, really loose. And so it's like, pretty easy to get a nice little slice. And for vegetable production, we kind of just want to stay in that main zone that we're working in. So we really only need to go about 6 to 8 inches down. And so we'll be taking a handful of samples. And with this, once I take a slice, then I'll kind of take like a nice chunk going all the way down like that. And so I'll be taking a handful like that. Sure. Yeah, so actually that's kind of a interesting idea too, because if you do slice it and you kind of look, you can start to see like the soil structure itself. So you can see some of the like macropores in particular, and some of the aggregates. So we're trying to keep that relatively together in our sample. So we'll probably take about 5 to 7 of these. And then just really gently mix them in the bag and try to keep like some of clumps like that together when we send it off to the lab. And then the other thing that we're gonna do while we're here is we're gonna take a penetrometer reading. So these are super fun, and you will be using these in class. And what we're doing is we're actually trying to see how aerated or compact the soil is. And when we've done this before, in certain places we've seen a hard pan, in certain places we haven't, but it's a PSI reading. And so, we slowly go down into the soil. So right now we're at about 50, 75. So then we're right about here is where we reach that hard pan a bit. And it really only got to about 175, so it's not that bad. And so I like to do this. I like to figure out, again, where was that hard pan? Right about there. And then see how far down it was. So yeah, like 1.5 feet,
36.
Maybe, yeah, maybe a little over a foot is right where about that is. But as long as you have a reading that's below 300 PSI, most of the annual vegetable roots don't have too big of a problem going through. But it's a good way to kind of continue to check in with that compaction and think about, do I need to implement some practices to break that up, or how do I prevent it, getting worse in the future?